is okay. Hi everyone, Vamsi Deepak Shankar here. I have Radhika Bali, the author of the book The Trust Multiplier, and Mr. Mithil Dave, the brand alchemist, here with me today. So we also have one more guest, Mr. Dorji. He will be joining us shortly. Mr. Dorji is from Bhutan. He's an authority on creativity. So today we are going to have a beautiful discussion on a lot of things. Especially the focus will be on the topic, the two levers, presence, and of course, the most important part is the cultural sensitivity. And I would love to first start off with a small introduction. I would like everybody to take 30 seconds and introduce themselves before we plunge into the discussion. We'll start with Mrs. Radhika Bali. Ma'am, would you like to do a short introduction about yourself, please? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vamsi. So, as Vamsi said, I'm Radhika Bali, the author of The
Radhika, ma'am,
Trust
would you like?
Multiplier. And here, this is my book, The Trust Multiplier, which talks about presence and cross-cultural intelligence. I am the founder of Ux by Radhika, a professional speaker and a corporate trainer. And I'm happy to be here on this platform with Mithil, Vamsi, and Dorji. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Radhika, ma'am, please, you can introduce yourself.
Vamsi, your voice was cracking. Do you want me to introduce
Just give
myself
me a
again?
moment. Yes, yes.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this platform. I'm Radhika Bali, the founder of Ux by Radhika and the author of The Trust Multiplier, a book which is on leadership, which talks about why presence and cultural intelligence is very important and are the prime um, pillars or the two levers for being a good leader or a trusted leader. Happy to be here, Vamsi. Thank you for the invitation.
Mr. Mithil, you can introduce yourself. I think I'm having some technical issues, but please go ahead and introduce yourself.
Sure, Vamsi. So, hi, my name is Mithil Dave. I'm a business coach, a professional speaker, as well as author of two books. And I work with in the domain of sales, AI, and technology. And I work with coaches, professional speakers, leaders, CXOs, as well as many leaders of the corporate world. Thank you.
I think I
Vamsi, you're on mute.
Am I audible now? Am I audible now? Okay. Yeah, perfect. So I think I had some technical issue, but Mr. Mithil, you already introduced yourself, right? So we'll go to the first question. So we're talking about uh, the two levers, presence, and of course the most important part, which is the cultural sensitivity. So Radhika ji, please, the first question is for you. What do you mean by cultural sensitivity and presence? Can you please talk about that a bit from your perspective and from your book, The Trust Multipliers perspective, actually?
Sure, Vamsi.
Hello,
So when we talk about, am I audible? Am I audible?
hello.
Yes. Can you hear me? Am I audible? All right. So when we talk about presence and cultural intelligence or cultural sensitivity, as I have also spoken about these two topics in my book, The Trust
Hello, Radhika
Multipliers.
ji.
Yes, Vamsi.
Hello.
Yes. Vamsi, can you hear me? Am I audible now?
Radhika, you are audible. Seems like some technical challenge with Vamsi
Vamsi?
on his end. Yeah.
Okay. So shall I continue with?
Radhika ma'am, I'm audible now.
Yes, you are. Shall I continue?
Ma'am, please continue. You can talk about trust. Yes, please go ahead. Sorry for the inconvenience. Go ahead with your book. First of all, talk about the presence and the cultural sensitivity. What does it stand for, and why was the topic called that? Can you brief us about that, ma'am? Go ahead, please.
Sure. So, presence is what makes you enter the room, what brings you into the room, and cultural sensitivity is where it helps you make people feel how you treat them, how you understand them, and their ways of thinking and doing things. Ultimately, both of them lead you to trust. A person will trust you only when he knows how you make him feel. He will remember that for the rest of his life. He will not remember what you said, but he will never forget how you made him treat, how you made him feel. And that is why I talk about cultural sensitivity and presence as the two levers, the most important levers or pillars for multiplying that trust as a person and as a leader.
Excellent point, ma'am. Just to brief a little bit upon the cultural sensitivity part. Do you think, you've spoken in multiple places across the country and also overseas, and you've been an active professional speaker. Now, given the cultural part, India is a diverse country, and of course, you can clearly demarcate the various cultural aspects, especially the leadership in the leadership part. What do you think is the right blend when it comes to presence and leadership? I think I'll hear your thoughts and then slowly move to Mithil on the same part. Yes, ma'am.
All right. So, talking about the blend and the cultural sensitivity, being traveled across the country as an army child, then an army wife, and working globally with different people from different countries, I'll just give you two quick examples on this. The very first comes from my childhood. I remember when I was maybe in sixth grade or the seventh grade, and during that time, taking autographs from your friends and teachers was one of the in thing. Everybody used to like. We all had this small autographed book or diary, and we would walk up to others for autographs. So my principal back then, he wrote in that diary, "Look, listen, and learn." So observe how different people behave differently, listen to their perspective, learn the difference between both the cultures. So I may say something which is relevant to my growing up, my values, and my culture, or the geographical demography that I come from, the city or the state I come from. Being a Punjabi, we are generally loud, blunt, outspoken, and even the pitch that we talk in is loud, the volume. You are from Chennai, so if I talk about somebody from South India, is comparatively uh, more composed, speaks softly, will behave in a different manner as compared to North India. Like, I may nod my head this way for a yes, but you may nod this way or this way for a yes. I would perceive it differently if I'm not sensitive towards your culture. You're nodding for a yes, I may take it as a no. So these are the small things. So you observe,
Absolutely.
you listen,
Yeah,
you learn, and then you leverage.
absolutely. Absolutely right. And that is a major aspect, because that kind of communication is something which we will miss. And at times, the cultural sensitivity and the cultural intelligence that you have brought about, especially in this whole aspect, is very important. Uh, Beautiful thoughts, ma'am. I think let's just slightly move to Mr. Mithil. Mithil, you are a brand alchemist, and I know you are an expert in helping people create brands. Your LinkedIn profile is beautiful, and the kind of clients you work with is tremendous. But now I'm circling back to what Radhika ma'am, Radhika Bali had brought to the table. Cultural sensitivity and cultural intelligence, especially from a branding perspective. How does it work? Because you based out of Mumbai, I guess, and you're Gujarati. You have a different work kind of workshop, and you have a different kind of clientele. I'm amazed that every time I meet you, you give me a different perspective about life and branding. Now, Mithil, so what do you? How does it work for you? Cultural sensitivity and branding, Mithil.
So, Vamsi, thank you for asking this question. I have been into this field for past 25 years and worked across 5 continents. So, I have worked with Japanese, I have worked with Mexicans, Afro Americans, as well as Indians. Now, what happens is the very important thing, especially when it comes to branding, and usually when we do color psychology or we bring color into it, there are certain colors, there are certain elements which is widely accepted in one particular culture, but it is kind of considered as a taboo or a bad thing in another culture. So now when you're doing branding, you need to keep all these aspects also in mind. There are certain languages, there are certain sign language, there are certain objects, symbols, as well as hand gestures and everything. All of this also needs to be kept in mind while designing the brand, as well as creating content strategies and positioning yourself in the real world out there. So you need to keep on studying them. But how do you study them? By talking to them, by genuinely understanding their culture, and without any bias or without any of your own opinions, keeping all those things aside. You need to keep yourself as a blank slate and then ask how can your expertise can serve this particular idea, and which can be a win-win not just for that one particular culture, but anything which is coming from that culture can and should widely accepted in all the rest of the cultures also. So that's very crucial, and that's where we play a major role in bringing those things out. And thanks to PSCI and being into the world of professional speakers, we on a daily basis meet a lot of people from different age, color, as well as culture. So that really helps us to understand what works in Australia, what works in Bhutan, what works in India, what works in America. So keeping all those things in mind, we have to create a win-win for everyone.
Brilliant, brilliant words, Mithil, especially on the aspect that PSCI, we interact with a multitude of people, from different cultural backgrounds and across the globe. So that's a beautiful point, Mithil. Now, I'm just going back to Radhika ma'am's book, The Trust Multiplier, because the trust multiplier is a very unique term, and both of you work with leaders in a different league altogether. So, Radhika ma'am, I'm just asking this question, a straightforward question. How does a leader create an impact in a boardroom? Let's say it's a board in a boardroom, and especially if it's across the globe. How does one create that niche as a leader? Could you talk?
All right, Vamsi, if I get you right, you're asking me that how does a leader create an impact in a global room? Am I correct?
Absolutely.
All
Absolutely
right.
right.
So, to begin with, again, talking about my book, The Trust Multiplier, being sensitive towards the culture. Now, what happens is your presence, how you appear, how you walk, how you behave, your first impression helps you get noticed by people when you're in a boardroom. The way you're dressed, as Mithil spoke about the colors. Now, blue is a color of trust, and red is a color of authority. The darker the colors, the higher on authority. So if somebody who is wearing a shirt and a tie vis-a-vis somebody who's wearing a match suit, a third layer on top, automatically the authority shifts to him. People know that this person is somebody with authority and who means business. Now, again, choosing the color that he wears when I'm talking about presence. If I'm wearing a light beige color suit vis-a-vis a navy blue suit or a charcoal gray suit, one color shows that I am somebody of that stature and authority where you must listen to me and agree with what I am saying and think twice before coming and talking to me about anything. And the other color, the lighter color, which is a beige or a khaki, says that yes, I am that person with authority, but I am approachable. You can come and talk to me. So, what is the message that you want your audience in the boardroom to know for that moment, for the role that you're playing? You want them to feel that you are approachable and not take you that seriously, or you want them to listen to you and take you seriously. So you choose the color accordingly of the clothes that you wear. That is your presence, your personality, which brings you into the room and gets you noticed. Now, talking about cultural intelligence, it helps people connect with others. So I'll give you a small example for this. As a trainer or a speaker, now mostly on a global level, we all know that when we talk about a business suit, even for ladies, we usually wear trousers or a skirt with a jacket on top. And we all prefer talking more in English, even though we try to be bilingual within our own country. But if I'm going to a small town in UP to deliver a lecture, maybe in an NGO, or in Punjab to deliver a lecture in a university or an NGO, I wear a business suit and I go, people will listen to me, but they will not connect with me. They will not have that trust in me. But if I wear a sari or a salwar kurta, which is a dress similar to theirs, I dress like them, maintaining my authority. At the same time, I add a few words of the local language, maybe Punjabi, Hindi, Gujarati, or wherever I'm going. I just learn a few words of the local language, maybe just a greeting. And I speak those words while I'm talking to them. They will feel that, yes, she's here for us. She understands our problem, and they will instantly trust me and connect with me. That is where the cultural intelligence helps you, even in the boardrooms. Reading the language of the room and the people and connecting with them in a way that they understand and not in a way that you want them to understand.
Beautiful, beautiful. I think reading the room, that's something that I think most people miss out. And especially Radhika ji, since you brought this to the table, how does one read the room where there are people from diverse backgrounds? Because you spoke about clothing, you spoke about what kind of aspects that one can focus on, but how does one read the room of different kinds of people? Do you have any cues for that so that our audience can understand? How does one read the room?
Understanding their demography or the background, the country they come from, studying a little or knowing a little about their culture, understanding how people behave differently. So somebody may speak very softly, does not mean the person is underconfident. You have to understand that maybe those are the values he has grown up with, and you have to respect those values. So try and converse with the person in the same way as you see them behave. Maybe explain it to them in a different way instead of saying, can't you even understand this much? Or you're too slow. Try and change your way, your perception towards how you explain the things to them, how you talk to them.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you, Radhika ma'am, for that wonderful. The floor is yours. Now you should tell us, because branding, again, I'm coming back. As a brand alchemist and as a professional speaker, you train a lot of leaders to do something with the business, and especially when it comes to reading the room, creating an impactful presence, and of course with regards to cultural sensitivity. How does your authority work in that area? How does branding help one in that particular area? And in your opinion, what is that impact that one should create in a particular scenario like this? Yes, Mithil, we'd love to hear your thoughts on this.
Okay, so Vamsi, when it comes to reading the room, first and foremost, the reading the room begins way before you enter the room, and that's what we call as research. You need to do a lot of research, especially, for example, when I was going to speak in PSS 2026, so that is Chennai. Right now, when I'm coming to Chennai, I need to also keep in mind the culture of Chennai or the culture of Tamil Nadu. And in fact, you must have observed there are many professional speakers, especially when they come to India. Women professional speakers, they try to wear kameez or they wear sari. Specifically, they will wear sari. Why? Because they respect our culture. Similarly, the same people, women, if they go to the GCC countries, they will try to wear, or they will at least try to cover themselves, because that is the, I would say, the tradition of that particular country. So we need to respect that, and everything starts from from research. So, and again, there are certain colors you can wear, there are certain colors that you should not wear. It's nothing like you can't wear, but if you want to be accepted and there has to be a sense of relatability, then I think you need to do a thorough research, not just about the culture, the color, the language, what they like, what they don't like, and also touch base upon their history. That's very much important, because see, if you really want to make a connect and read the room, and when you know their history, at least you will know what to say, what not to say, and how to take care of it. So that is where things will be better. Over to you.
Very, very nicely put, Mithil. Mithil, I want to ask a very specific question, especially to you. Can you give us your experience with regards to creating an impactful presence? Because you told me you did the research when you came to Chennai. Of course, I know the kind of research that each and every one of us do when you go to a different location, and that is what we do as speakers. But as a leader, because when you're talking about a boardroom or a particular scenario, so Radhika ma'am very specifically pointed out that color, authority, different colors and different shades work out. But for a brand alchemist like you, what will be the right way to do it and what is the wrong way? There should be a perfect way wherein this could create newly who has just become a leader, or there's a wrong way that I'm talking about somebody who is very casually dressed for a meeting when it comes to this angle. Yeah.
Okay, so when I was, I'll give you one incident where I traveled to Haryana, and Radhika will agree with me. So I went into the remote areas of Haryana where I was invited to speak for a very good firm, and also that firm had an education department where the students and the parents were also there. Now these are the people, even though they are educated, they will prefer, like, someone who speaks in their native language, or at least speaks something else, because there were a lot of other participants in that particular event which were they were shy to even accept or be a part of English speaking culture. So I started my session in English first, did the presentation, and in the mid session, I realized, especially when I started looking at audience and looking for their response, I noticed certain things that many of the people were not connecting to it. Immediately, what I did is I kind of used couple of lingos in Haryanvi, and there was laughter. So immediately what happened was it break the ice, and people started connecting. And then what happened? People felt, this is our guy, we can connect to him. And then what happened? I tried to create a balance between both, because this organization was an English speaking organization. Specifically, they had mentioned that you need to keep that in mind. You should not diverge or bring something else. But then I thought, if we need to connect with the audience, then what matters a lot is to have something where, if you're doing it for the audience, the justice needs to be done. So that's why, since I also part of my relationship belongs to Haryana, I was known for that. But again, second part is where I went to Maharashtra. I'm from Maharashtra, so I speak Marathi. So then there was a couple of participants who asked questions in Marathi, and when I, rather than answering in English, when I answered in Marathi, everyone was zapped, because they understood this guy did a homework and came. Similarly, when I had gone to Kolkata for an event or a
Very
marketing
nice.
event, there were people who were little skeptical, and they asked certain questions in Bengali. I respectfully told them, "Khub bhalo," but I really don't know much about Bengali. But would love to know more about it, and would love to learn from each one of you. However, if it is okay, can we keep it in Hindi or in English? Being politely asking them, they felt okay. They were doing injustice to the event, and they realized, like, bullying is not gonna work. So you need to also understand that all these aspects also happen, and you need to very politely say that, okay, I don't know, but please bear with me and support me. I'm also a human being like you, and we tend to do mistakes. So what happens is, except if you don't know, if you have not done the homework, that's okay. That will at least bring that authenticity in. And people can observe, people can see. That makes a lot of difference. So these are all the things that, mistakes that you can learn from my mistake, what the things you should do, what are the things you should not do, rather than me telling you what is right
Absolutely
and what is
fantastic. Fantastic, fantastic. I think that's quite a perspective, Mithil, and I think you had a wonderful experience interacting with different people across the country. Radhika, ma'am, just moving on to you. You are an army person. You belong to the army family. Your father, your husband, have a lot of relatives in the army. I have one straightforward question to you, especially with regards to the cultural part. I think army is one of the most important part where every culture is respected, every religion is respected. How do you bring that experience to leadership? Because having an army background, it must have definitely been helpful for you to run and experience this particular thing. How did it help you? And can you give us some experience with regards to this scenario, ma'am, where your army background helped you to build your leadership potential and other things as well? Radhika, ma'am, over to you, please.
Sure. Thank you so much, Vamsi. And talking about army life, in army, they say, especially for the officers or the commanding officer, the religion of your men is your religion, irrespective of which religion you come from. So when an officer gets commissioned, um, talking about my husband, though my husband is a Sikh and he is from a Sikh regiment, so the religion was the same. There was no difference. But there have been officers from South, from Kerala, who have commanded our battalion. They know Guru Granth Sahib better than maybe my children. My children don't know it so well. They would know the rituals, the Guru Granth Sahib, all the festivals, everything on their tips. They speak better Punjabi than a Punjabi himself, because that is the language they talk in with the soldiers. This is for my husband. My brother is from Gurkhas. Now, when an officer gets commissioned, they all have to first go and live for about 1 month in the regimental centers. And why they do that is to understand the religion, the culture, and the people, the men, the soldiers of that particular regiment. So they don't live with the officers, but they live with the men. They eat in the same langar, they sleep with them in their barracks, and they perform all the rituals. Also, my brother is from Gurkhas. So in a Gurkha regiment, Dashera is one of the main festivals, and they do sacrifice of. Now, a lot of regiments are not doing it, but they sacrifice animal. Mainly, bhaise ka bali dete hain, and goats and ducks and roosters and all of that. So, the young officer who has just joined the battalion, no matter which religion is he from, he is supposed to give the sacrifice of that bhaisa on the Dashera day. And they say that you should be able to cut the neck of the bhaisa in one shot, otherwise it brings bad omen. Whether you like to do it or not, it is a tradition and you have to follow, because you have to respect the culture of your men. Respect their religion. You learn the language they speak in, and you speak their language. We have had Muslim commanding officers who attend the mandir ceremony every Sunday, or the Gurdwara ceremony every Sunday, because that is how it is in a battalion. they read the Guru Granth Sahib, or they know the verses, they do the Havan, they perform all the religious activities because their religion becomes the religion of their men. At home, yes, they do practice their own religion also. And we in a battalion, everybody celebrates all the festivals. We celebrate Eid, we celebrate Christmas, we celebrate Guru Granth Sahib, Guru Purab, we celebrate Dussehra. As a child, when I was growing up, now this is within the army battalion or a cantonment, but even the locals start respecting you. So I have grown up in Northeast, and my book talks about most of the stories from the Northeast of my growing up days. During Christmas, we used to be invited for a feast by the villagers, and understanding the sensitivity of that many of us are vegetarians, or we do not eat beef, or we do not eat pork. They would have two separate tables, and they would tell you that this is for you, this is for the locals. In case if you want to try the local delicacy, you are most welcome, but they would tell you, they would inform you well in advance. If there is somebody who they feel that is being reluctant in taking that piece of meat, and that meat is pork, they would even tell you. So there was a joke where one Naga lady tried telling an officer, "Khao khao, sharam nahi, suwar ka bacha." So what she tried telling him was, don't feel shy. This is just pork. It is not beef. You can have it. And what he felt was, on one side, this lady is asking me to, she's invited me for a feast, and she's telling me you don't even have shame, and she's abusing me. So again, not understanding the culture, yet understanding each other's culture. The same thing happens in your corporate world as well. Corporates, when they travel to different countries for work, for meetings, gifting etiquette is different. As Mithil mentioned earlier, hand gestures are different. The color of clothes that they wear, one may mean good to somebody, but it may be derogatory for the other culture or the country. So doing a research on that, keeping that in mind. Now, talking about, like, we have POSH and POXO acts, there is one act in Japan called Sumehara, which means being sensitive towards the smell sensitivity, smell harassment rather. Now for them, for Japanese, wearing a strong perfume, the smell of the cigarette, smell of a strong smell from your food, your strong body odor, smell of an elderly or a child or a pet. All these are a part of smell harassment. So if you are not following that, so somebody maybe in your workspace could be allergic to one of these, or may feel uncomfortable because of these. And if you don't follow it, people start distancing away from you. You might even lose an existing business with them, or not be able to crack a deal. So when you travel to Japan, you have to be very particular about these things. You have to do your research. Likewise, if you go to China, leaving a little bit of rice in the plate is considered good. That says that the person has liked the food so much that he could not finish the whole thing. Whereas in India, if you leave the food in the plate, we say that you're wasting food. It is not considered good.
Absolutely, ma'am. That's right.
Use a wooden chopstick. Japanese use an ivory chopstick, or a chopstick made of bones. Chinese use a wooden chopstick, and the Koreans they used to use a silver chopstick, but now they've moved to steel instead of silver. Now, all of that, why do they do that? What is the reason? There is a difference in everything. So this is how, if you understand the culture of a place, you will be able to crack deals well in those countries.
Very nice, very nice. I think you brought in the army thing amazingly, ma'am. Beautiful example of the army and the perspective towards different cultures, and of course, how in corporate one has to be sensitive towards different culture to succeed in the business as well. That's a very important aspect that every leader has to follow. But Mithil, coming from Radhika ma'am's answer, especially with regards to working with different races. You have got your share of experience working with different races, and you already mentioned you work with Afro Americans, Indians, you work with a lot of other people. Uh, what stands out? Because I'm just bringing this to the table because one of the major aspects is if you look at Americans, they talk about a killer attitude, right? Very strong-willed people, and they have a killer attitude and say, hey, you're going to do it or else something like that. But if you look at Asians predominantly, we are a little more sublime. Maybe we're not that bold in certain things. So as far as your experience working with different people and the kind of branding that we look at, how does it work, Mithil? And you could talk about your book also and how your book helps out in this particular angle as well, Mithil, please.
Surely. So I'll tell you a funny incident, and to all the people who are listening this. When I started coaching, and most of my clients are from US and Canada, there was certain language which they used which I failed to either understand, or I kind of took it very personal. But I didn't react it because since I was earning in dollars, I thought if I'll react, I'll lose the client. So what I did is I went back, I checked the vocabulary, I checked the slang language, what they use, which made me understand that you need to have a thorough knowledge, very important. You need to have a thorough knowledge of how you are communicating with the audience and also the lingo of it. But I'll give you a trick that I use now is that whenever I am dealing with any of the clients, I always keep one of the browser open so that the moment anything comes and I don't know about it, parallelly I go and I search for it. So that if a person is deliberately kind of sharing any kind of derogatory statements, I kind of get back to them in a very polite manner. Or if I am misunderstanding it, I kind of make myself understand. And that's what I kind of included in my book also, From Invisible to In Demand. So what happens is that most of the time people are invisible to cultures, invisible, or I would say they are doing a lot of things, but again, they are invisible to the world. So how can you make yourself in demand? So many of the aspects, in fact, in my book, I have brought four different human beings with one mentor, and all these human beings are coming from different places of the country. One is coming from Jodhpur, one is coming from Bangalore, one is coming from Chennai, one is coming from Delhi. So all different cultural aspects, I have tried to do it in a very hidden manner, so that it doesn't look like I'm teaching cultural aspect, but all those things also matters a lot. A few jokes of Bangalore traffic and Bangalore rains, or Kadakti Dhoop of Jodhpur, or the Shosha of Delhi. So all those things are also there. So again, these are all cultural. You like it, you don't like it, that's your problem. But you need to accept it. That is the norm of that area. Okay, and you need to be with it. So that's what I tried my best to do justice to this book by making everyone who feel invisible, to making them be in demand.
Very nice, Mithil. I'm also trying to. I think I'll ask the same question to both of you. I just spoke about the killer attitude, right? I think what does killer attitude stand for, Radhika ji? Your thoughts, and I think Mithil, you can take off after Radhika ji answers. Radhika
Sure.
ji, what is a killer attitude? How does it work for one person in life, or be it life or business? How does a killer attitude work, and what is a killer attitude according to you? Go ahead, ma'am.
Thank you, Vamsi, for that question, which really tickles your brain to think and answer. Before answering to this question, I would definitely tell everyone here, whoever's watching us, that you must, and I mean it, you must read this book by Mithil. Amazing book. The stories that he's incorporated in his book about the Goa airport or Madhav from Mumbai are wonderful stories. Now, coming back to your question, killer attitude. It would mean differently for different people. And I would say that no answer is a wrong answer. Every answer would be the right answer, but according to the perspective of that person. Now, for me, a killer attitude would be where, now, as an image consultant and a corporate trainer, which I tell people about a killer attitude is following the 4 A's. Keeping this question in mind before entering any room. What is your role, goal, occasion, and purpose? So being authentic, being realistic, so rare, so reliable, authentic, relatable, and empathetic. So if you can relate to what other people are saying, if you can understand their perspective, if you can make them feel good, make them feel understood and comfortable, be authentic in who you are, keeping what is the role that you're going to play, what is your purpose, what is it that you want to deliver, or what is it that you want people to take you as or understand you as. And still, while choosing clothes, since we've been talking about clothes also, keeping all this in mind, of course, not going for brands all the time, but being authentic in whatever you wear, where you feel yourself, where you don't feel like somebody else. That thing should be affordable, not in terms of price only, but in terms of price and your comfort. You should look approachable, if that people don't run away from you, but they want to connect with you, they want to speak with you. So when you keep all these aspects in mind and then choose what you're wearing, okay, I want to convey this message to my audience, so I dress up accordingly and then I behave accordingly. I enter the room accordingly. Now, when we talk about this in the killer attitude, a lot of us, we say, oh, you're looking good, you're intelligent, you're going to just kill it. You're going to ace the maybe the meeting or the interview. But this person, though he's intelligent, he has complete knowledge, he's well dressed, but he comes out not being selected, or with a feeling of failure, not happy, not satisfied with himself. And why does this happen? In a case of a boardroom meeting, you're going to some other country or company for a meeting or training, like since Mithil and I both are trainers, or you're training somebody for interview, or you're taking somebody's interview, you being the head of a company and having so many people working under you, would notice a person right from the moment he enters the gate of the building. How he walks, how he is talking to the watchman, the PN, the receptionist, and to the other people sitting in the waiting area. And then how is he behaving inside the room where he needs to give that impression? Are the two things contradictory or the same? Is it his real personality, or is he just faking it inside the room? So by the time he starts speaking, and showing his knowledge based on his behavior, which shows his cultural intelligence, you have in your mind already decided whether you want to employ this person, give him a project, deal with him, do a business or not. So a person who is able to balance well between both the presence and the cultural intelligence and stay consistent with that, I feel that is what a killer attitude would be. Over to
Wow.
you.
Brilliant. I think you need to now tell your perspective. I think Radhika ji has given you a brilliant platform, beautiful ideas, beautiful thoughts about a killer attitude. Mithil, over to you.
I would just say one thing: she killed it. She absolutely killed it.
Absolutely
Thank you.
agreed.
True. But coming back, if you see, again, this is a lingo. A killer attitude is a lingo. If you ask Darwin, Charles Darwin, to explain what's a killer attitude, he will say, my friend, this is all about the evolution of a mankind. We started from cave, and then we eventually became a killer on the corporate world. So from becoming a killer in the savannah forest to a killer on the into the corporate world. Now you ask a college going person or a Gen Z, the killer attitude is absolutely different. The same lingo, when it is used in sales, it's absolutely different. Same which is used on the global platform and then spoken by a political leader, that's a different lingo and a different meaning altogether to it. So again, these are all different perspectives, but eventually it's nothing but a feeling where someone can accomplish uh, or make it sambhav from asambhav, right? For example, just to make things a little lighter in the room, Praveen Shekhar has a killer attitude. Ah, that is right, right? He has a killer attitude. Even Vamsi has a killer attitude, right? He is simple, but business-wise, connection-wise, he has a killer attitude. Radhika, on the other hand, as an image consultant, as a corporate trader, and as an author, like it's not easy to write a book on trust, and trust multiplier is something which is absolutely different. So the context and the concepts that she has brought into it, she has killed it. Right now, when I say she has killed it, does not mean she has literally killed something or someone, right? Or she has done something bad, but she has done justice to the topic. So this is a slang, or this is a lingo that is used just to understand, but nothing beyond that. What I will say is, every word has a power. You need to use it meaningfully so that it does justice to it, rather than a killer attitude. If we say you are a go-getter, both means the same. Both means the same, but one is very aggressive, second is very motivational and inspiring. So again, it's the
Yeah.
power of words, or I will say power of voice.
Absolutely, absolutely. So being more assertive or being more aggressive, and instead of saying killed it, if you say nailed it, again, it means the same, but just the use of words is different. Absolutely.
Or even Anu Malik says,
Brilliant.
"Aag laga dala, aag laga dala."
I
That
think
is
Mithil, you were spreading fire. तुमने आग लगा डाला. Brilliant. I think brilliant perspective, Mithil, because power of word. I think as professional speakers, we all understand how powerful words are. And especially the way you put it, killer attitude is good, but nailing it is much better. And I think Radhika ji is also in agreement with what you said, 100%. Now we're
absolutely.
coming closer to one very important aspect, because both of you have written books, and I know how difficult. From my heart, I'm saying it's difficult to write a book. Though I'm a publisher, I have not written books, but I don't know how hard both of you have worked to write it. And I've seen the sweat and blood you're given to the writing of this book. Can you give us your perspective about this writing? Because maybe take a minute, you can talk about your writing journey a little bit. We want all the audience members to listen to both your writing journey in 60 seconds. I will start with Radhika ji as usual, and then move to Mithil. Radhika ji, your writing journey. I know what you went through. I've been there, but I would love to listen to you, Radhika ji. Please go ahead.
Well, my writing journey, I have been thinking of writing for many years. I would say more than a decade now. And it was always a lot of concepts, few things scattered on paper here and there, but most of it in my head. The motivation was there somewhat. But the thing of where to begin and how to begin was missing. The structure was absolutely missing. It was just a wish or desire to write something. And it was definitely not this. It was definitely not something like a trust multiplier. But what I wanted to write was more of memoirs of my life with my father, of my father's life starting from partition days till his death. The stories that he shared of his partition time when they came to India, of his growing up days, when he joined the army, the 65 war or the wars after that, and his retirement life, his life with his grandkids. My purpose was that I will collate everything, all these thoughts, make maybe a coffee table book and leave it as a legacy for my children and the future generation so that they know which family and legacy they come from. That did not happen, but Praveen Shekhar gave us a 100-day book writing challenge during the PSS 26. And I somehow love taking challenges. There's this kida in me, which if somebody says, oh, you can't do this, does not let me sleep, because then I have to prove that person wrong anyhow. So I took this
Killer
challenge
attitude,
up.
ma'am. That is the killer attitude that we spoke about. Sorry to interrupt, but please.
No problem. So I said, okay, let me be a part of this book writing challenge. At least this will teach me a structure of writing and take me forward. So the initial, when Praveen said, write 1 paragraph, 3 paragraphs, and then a 1-hour speech, I wrote it. Then I used ChatGPT to kind of refine it, and went through it again. Certain elements of AI which I was not too happy with, I removed all of that. I rewrote it again, and I sent it to Praveen. He went through it and he rejected the whole thing. And that was like, oh my God, now what? Now what do I do? Do I give up? Do I start again? But he kept pushing us consistently. And yes, Vamsi was there to support us as well. Mithil was there. All of you were there to support. And then that one chapter by one chapter, then thinking of which stories from my childhood can relate to these aspects of leadership and trust that I have idealized my father with. I have seen him do, and I always wanted to be like him. Gave me that encouragement to write, and also it was more of an adieu to my father, to tell him that it was dedicated to my father, the book. That yes, that one take of Papa, I have done it. I'm an author too. And yeah, that is how it started, the journey of the book.
Absolutely brilliant. I think the line "Papa maine kar diya hai." That's like that's a satisfaction that every daughter has. To it's like tribute to your father. I think that's a brilliant thing. Mithil, over to you, Mithil. I think you should now tell us your story
Sure.
about the writing.
Before I tell my story, I would like to say one thing to Radhika. That coffee table book is not started yet, but it would. And I would love to offer help to you. And let's make that come as a legacy, as something which you can leave back as a story, so that the future generations and many others who
Yeah,
yet
you can
go through
count me in as well, Radhika ji. Both of us are there to
Absolutely,
support you.
Vamsi. Thank you so much. And thank you, Mithil, for that.
Most
I'm
welcome.
really touched.
You're welcome. Because those stories are yet to be told, and I think these are the unsung heroes which are supposed to be given the spotlight. So this was exactly what I started when I started writing my book. It was just a mere conversation with one of my friends, Vanalata, who helped me in writing my first book. So I said I want to do something where I can create not just a course but something else which can help people. And later on, when I started coaching, I mean, before that, I was coaching a lot of coaches, and many of the ICF coaches were authors. And I realized one thing, that if you want to have an authority in your life, you need to become an author, because in the word authority itself, there is a word called as author. So if you become an author, you have an authority to speak on it, because not any Tom, Dick, and Harry writes a book, right? There is a lot of pain which goes inside to write a book. And I wrote my first book, The Brand Alchemist, published it, all thanks to Swarnalata, that is Dastan Publication. And then I took it as a challenge before PSS 2026. So I was helping Sandhya, one of my very good friend. So she was wanting to write a book. I said, okay, I will help you write a book, like how Radhika offered help to you. She said, Mithil, why don't we both write a book? I said, oh my God, writing a second book. Okay, fine. I enrolled into it. I asked Vamsi, I need your help for me and for Sandhya. Vamsi said, I'm more than happy to help. So all thanks to you, Vamsi, that you helped us get the ISBN number and many other support that you did while printing and everything else. But then since I was already an existing author, I never got the opportunity to be part of Praveen's cohort, but then would love to learn from him more about writing a book, because he's brilliant. He has wrote more than 25 books.
Oh,
So
yes.
wrote this second book, keeping in mind the pain of, like, I have coached, Radhika, more than 80,000 entrepreneurs, and trained more than 2 lakh employees. Still, for many years I used to feel invisible, even after doing so much work. Like, every time I have to explain who am I. So there was never in demand kind of a concept, and that's why that came an idea that, like me, there are so many people who are like real heroes, or who have done really some good substance. They have done a lot of work, yet they are invisible. And there are a lot of people who, by just doing little but do a large marketing, they become big. So then I thought, what are the ways? And then I went into a complete research mode. In the next 2 months, wrote the book, launched it in PSS 2026, thanks to Vinay, Esther, as well as Vamsi, Praveen, Saurabh, Radhika, you, for kind of encouraging, supporting, and officially launched my second book. Now I have made it a promise that each year in PSS I will be launching one book. That is for sure. So I'm also already working on one concept, and keeping my fingers crossed to launch it in January 2026, 2027, PSS 2027. Looking forward for it.
9th and 10th of January.
Wow.
Looking forward to your next
I think
book.
all the best.
Yes. Thank you so much. Vamsi has.
Absolutely,
I
I
have
think
bothered and troubled Vamsi at late hours in the evening, early morning. I've eaten his head, and of course, he's my publisher. He he helped me with the design of the book. I've literally, troubled him. There must have been a time where he would have said, "मैं कहाँ फंस गया? किसके साथ फंस गया?" Praveen also,
no,
of
ma'am, no, ma'am,
course,
definitely
and
not.
Esther,
Yeah.
everybody.
Happy to be there. Happy to support you, I think. And it's been a wonderful journey right from the very beginning. PSA always been dear. I've been there as a charter member from the very beginning. I know the DNA of PSI. PSA always is very special to me. The kind of people like Praveen Shekhar, Kriba Shankar, Vinay Pushpakaran, Esther, everybody was sitting out there, especially people who have been with the system for quite some time, know that PSI is special. It has a DNA that always supports each other. And I think I can always vouch and say that PSA always has been a supportive system which has helped me personally in a lot of ways, not only in my professional, but even in my personal life, in my business. It has given me a lot of perspective about life. So yes, and it has brought out wonderful people and friends. I call them my tribe. So you are all part of my tribe. I'm happy to be involved and with you, all of you. But before we close, I think I have one question that I will ask Radhika ji and Mithil. What is your success mantra? Because both of you are trainers, speakers, and there should be a specific mantra that each of you follow. And what is that success mantra? Can you share your success mantra before we close this discussion? Radhika ji, will start with you as always. Please go ahead. Your success mantra.
Staying consistent, being honest to myself and my work, and understanding others before telling people what I do, understanding what they want from me. So when somebody feels that yes, this person is listening to what we want and is delivering that, they build kind of a trust with you. And there are times when you may falter, you may fail in delivering the exact thing, or the outcome may not be as you thought it should be. But because of that trust, they stick with you. But if you are, that is my success mantra. I prefer building that connection, the personal connection, human connection, and trust, and sticking to that, rather than just telling somebody that I have 27 plus years of experience and I have an authority on this topic, so you must pay me this much or you must hire me. It does not always work. They may hire you, but for once, the next time they will not.
We completely trust you, Radhika ji, because no wonder your title of the book is Trust Multiplier. And trust is a costly commodity. We always say trust in God. We trust in Radhika ji's work. We trust in her work and words. So thank you, Radhika ji, for that. Mithil, the brand alchemist, over to you.
Okay, so my success mantra is very simple. I call it Trinity, Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. So Brahma means ask and it shall be given. There's a very, very famous quote in Bible. So you need to have that aspiration. Vishnu, you become what you think about. And Mahesh is being consistent and still believe that you are nothing.
Absolutely beautiful and profound.
Thank you.
That's beautiful. I think Mithil, you've given us a profound thought. You know, you invoked all three of the gods, and you said you need to do all these things to be powerful and successful. So different perspective. Radhika ji has spoken about trust. You've spoken about Trinity, and I think this beautiful discussion has given us insight into various aspects of business, especially with regards to how culturally we should be available, and that is one of the aspects we should focus on. So thank you everybody for the beautiful insight and for the wonderful discussion. Thank you, Radhika ji. Thank you, Mithil, for your thoughts.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Vamsi, for having us over for this panel discussion, for the beautiful questions and the insights. And thank you, Mithil, for being there always and for such beautiful nuggets that you shared. And I love the Trinity.
Thank you so much, Radhika, and thank you, Vamsi, for this opportunity, and also to Writer Inc. And also to Dorji. I know due to internet issue he was not able to connect. We missed him, but would have been really I would think that would have been also a much better killer session where even
Absolutely.
he would have nailed it.
Agreed. I'm 100% in
Absolutely.
agreement
We
with
miss
Mithil.
Dorji. Was really looking forward to having Dorji with us, but yes, at times network does play tricks with all of us.
Absolutely right. Yeah, we could have had Dodgy, and we would have loved to hear his insights. Dodgy is from Bhutan, so we would have got a lot of inputs from Mr. Dodgy as well. But yes, I think overall the conversation was brilliant. Beautiful thoughts from Radhika ji, and absolutely mind blowing thoughts from Mithil. Thank you very much for your participation and time on this weekend. And those of you listening to all three of us, thank you very much. It's a beautiful Saturday, and adios, everybody. Thank you, Vamsi Deepak Shankar, signing off. Thank you, Radhika ji. Thank you, Mithil.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.